Hi, my name is Edward Brown, and I am presenting this with my partners Ayong, Hayong, Siyu, Yonsu, and Johan. This is our case study on Metabical. The first question is, how does Metabical compare to the current weight loss options? Metabical is the only prescription drug that is FDA approved for its target consumers. Metabical is for people with moderate weight loss goals and fall into the overweight category on the BMI scale. It also features a dual release system with appetite suppressors and fat blockers. It has smaller amounts of these drugs than their competitors, reducing the amount of negative side effects. Metabical also excels in that it only requires one pill to be taken each day, whereas the competition requires multiple pills in a day.
Hi, I'm next presenter Song Ayong. What are the pros and cons of the forecasting methods presented by Printup? If you had to estimate demand for this product, how would you go about it? What would your demand forecast look like for the first 5 years? Printup forecasted future demands for next 5 years using different approaches. First, she started at the number of overweight individuals in the United States. And then she narrowed down 35% of that to those who were actively trying to lose weight. This should again be narrowed to the 15% those who were comfortable with weight loss drugs. In this chart, Printup thought Metabical was likely capture 10% of those individuals in the first year. In subsequent years, she expected additional 5% increases up to 30%. She suggested 60% of the first-time users would repurchase it, and 20% of second-time users would finish the entire program. This forecasting approach is proper to identify the general demands because the data was based on the number of overweight individuals in the United States, but it would not specify a particular target market. Second, she used the result from CSP survey. She concentrated on the data point that 12% of respondents were ready to immediately request prescription. In this chart, data is based on 12% respondents and additional 5% increase up to 30%. And 60%, 20% model for repeat purchase would also apply for this scenario. This method is more aggressive and realistic than others, but it is also hard to identify specific target consumers. Third, she developed more specific target focusing on ideal target consumers who were educated females 35 through 65 of age with BMI is between 25 and 30. Metabical would capture 30% of the ideal target market in the first year. Additional 5 increases up to 15% by year 5 and 60%, 20% model for repurchasing would hold true for this scenario too. This method is the most effective way to specify potential consumers, but just for this approach, it is difficult to capture the general demand.
Hi, I'm Hayong. The question I will illustrate is what consideration should be taken into account when making decisions about the package count, and what package size would you recommend? When packaging Metabical, we will consider the following factors. First, ability to pay things about price. It shouldn't be so expensive. Second is possibility to complete the entire regimen, because consumers will see the best results by taking Metabical to completion without missing a day. It is important to consider how best to have our consumers complete the 12-week regimen. Third factor is convenience. With second factor, the packaging is convenience not to skip taking it. Final is week system. If we package the product into week system, it is more comfortable for customers to take regularly. We selected 4-week supply. Its supply is reasonable to our consideration, but our product has to be taken for 12 weeks, so we give customers incentive when they are refilling or purchasing bundled products. When buying first, customers pay fixed price, which is relatively high. If they refill second or third supply, the price will be discounted and then cheaper than first. It encourages for users to repurchase Metabical, satisfying our recommending period. The way consumers spend money least is buying bundled products. We make product bundled, binding 3-4-week supply, and then we charge a special price on them. It is much cheaper than other combinations. We believe that it enables to maximize the number of users taking the product for 12 weeks and completing intaking.
I'll talk about what impact does your pricing decision have on profitability and what is the ROI over the first 5 years for each of the pricing strategies identified. First, before getting ROI, we have to get to know the profits. Net profit can be get from this formula, as you can see, expenses subtracted from total gross. Originally in the textbook, the formula for getting profit is revenue minus expenses. However, the reason why we're choosing this formula is because in the case study, we could not find the formula or any expenses that were taken to raw materials. So we use this formula. So eventually profit can be gained like this. So for example, let's take a look at how total gross for each demand and pricing strategy can be gained from a very simple example. I will take the example of the case of demand forecasting method 1 and pricing strategy 1. As you can see, the forecasted demand for the first 5 years in demand forecasting method 1 is the figure that you see. These are the population that are going to buy Metabical. And also the manufacturer gross margin for pricing strategy 1 is $24.8. So in order to get a total gross, we have to multiply these two figures. So the total gross can be gained in blue figures, as you can see in the bottom. So using the same strategy, we can gain all the total gross in this table, as you can see. These are the total gross for each pricing and demand forecasting strategies. Now that we know the total gross, we have to know expenses in order to get the profitability, right? So now let's get to calculate expenses. Well, expenses are all the same for other different demand strategies or pricing strategies. It is the same. So it can be gained by adding manufacturing costs, marketing budget, and R&D costs. The reason why we are multiplying 5 for manufacturing costs and marketing budget is because these costs are the money spent for 1 year. This is an annual expense, so we multiplied it by 5. So the total expenses we get as an expense is the figure you see in the bottom. So now that we know total gross and expenses, it's time to get net profit. This is the net profit table for each forecasting method and pricing. So as you can see, the pink colored ones are negative profits, right? So 4 options have negative profits. When pricing 1 is used, regardless of demand forecasting methods, all of the profits are negative. Also, the combination of method 1 and pricing 2 is also negative. So we think that these 4 options are very bad for the company. Yeah. So from now on, I'm going to talk about how to get ROI, return on investments. Return on investments can be gained by dividing total expenses from net profit and multiplied by 100 because it is a percentage. So the specific formula is written below. Yeah. Now that we know both the expenses and profitability, it is very easy to get ROI. So as you can see in the table, when pricing strategy 1 is selected, all of the ROI is negative also. And also when the combination of pricing option 2 and for demand forecasting option 1 is used, it is also negative. So yeah, we can say that these 4 options will be very disastrous for the company because its return on investment is not so good.
Hello, my name is Yunsu Kim. Now answer for these questions. What pricing strategy approaches would you suggest Print of Explorer? What are the advantages and disadvantages of each strategy? What price would you recommend? I recommend strategy 3 to her because print in one cent is 5% ROI. At previous part, strategy 3 shows more than 5% ROI in our demand forecasting method. Each strategy has advantages and disadvantages. First, strategy 1. Strategy 1 has the lowest price. This price are almost same with other products in weight loss drug industry. So customers don't have any price burden compared with other products. But in our demanding forecasting methods, it shows lowest profit and ROI than other strategies. Furthermore, it shows minus net profit and ROI. Next, strategy 2. It has stable net profit and ROI, having not much higher price than other products. But it has low net profit and ROI than strategy 3 and shows minus profit and ROI in forecasting method 1. Next, strategy 3. Strategy 3 has highest retail gross margin, manufacturer's gross margin, net profit and ROI. But its price is much higher than other weight loss drugs. So customers may avoid these products because of price burden. Based on the price analysis done before, we have made a conclusion about which combination of demand forecasting method and pricing strategies would be the most optimal one. We choose the combination of method 2 and pricing 2. First reason is that pricing should be mode to recoup R&D expenses while not too expensive to encourage sales. The second reason is that demand should capture fairly large population. Targeting medical provider would penetrate numbers overweight population as Metabical is a prescribed drug.